Pythagorean Theorem. Real life applications. Number 1, building and architecture. Number 2, navigation and GPS. Number 3, games and sports. So we'll learn about apply the Pythagorean theorem and identify the real life applications. So the Pythagorean theorem states that in a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the legs. Who discovered this theorem? Pythagoras was an ancient Greek philosopher and mathematician, and the ancient Greek mathematician and philosopher Pythagoras is credited with discovering this relationship in the 16th century BCE due to the prominence of his religious mathematical schools in Croton, Italy, and that said, it was likely independently discovered in several different cultures. There is evidence of its use in Egypt, Babylon, and China as far back as the 20th century BCE. Visual proofs. The Pythagorean theorem has been proved through hundreds of methods, and new proofs are still being discovered. So here is an example of a visual proof showing the squares of the sides. So using the Pythagorean theorem, you need to identify two legs. So here is two legs of the triangle and the hypotenuse, that is the note their lengths, and determine which side you are trying to find. And then you need to determine which side you are trying to find. Like here is a 8-inch and 15-inch, so we need to find out the C. All right, so substitute your length into the Pythagorean theorem equation and solve for the missing value. That is the formula you need to remember: a square plus b square equal to c square. So uh, understanding the right triangle. A right triangle is any triangle with one right angle. All right, you need to remember. And the next thing you need to remember, the two sides that form a right angle are called the legs. The side opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse. And third thing you need to remember, that is the right angle creates many special relationships between the sides and angles of the triangle and is the basis of the mathematical branch of trigonometry. All right, so this is the formula. You need to remember that. So here is a, if you use the formula, then you can easily get the C value here. So C value here is a 17, that is the 8 is a value, and 15 is a b value. Then substitute your lengths into the Pythagorean theorem equation and solve the missing value, that is the C is a 17. Use your calculator. Another example, you can practice and check your answer, guys. Yeah, and converse on your Pythagorean theorem. If the square of the length of the longest side of a triangle is equal to the sum of the squares the other two sides, then the triangle is a right angle. We know that. So first we determine which side would be the hypotenuse, then we use the values into the Pythagorean theorem. So summary, guys, that is the Pythagorean theorem describes the relationship between the sides of a right triangle, and then it can be used to find the missing side of a right triangle, and which can be applied to solve many real life problems. And understanding the Pythagorean theorems is a great foundation for learning trigonometry, the distance formula, and more. Alright, guys, so what other examples can you think of for using the Pythagorean theorem in your life? That's all, guys. Bye for now and see you later.